Good evening, Mr. O'Brien. Thank you for joining me on Instagram, and we're very grateful that you've given us time 2 nights in a row. We've had a lot of people who've written to me after the conversation we had yesterday. They're worried about their parents and family members who are in Calcutta. I understand also that the government has been restoring electricity in parts of the city. Would you be able to give us, some sort of an update of what things are like in the city right now?
Yeah, a little bit in the city and a little bit outside the city or in the suburbs, yes. I heard you just before I came on, and you did mention that the Great Bengal cyclone of 1737, but at that time they weren't Met offices around. But yes, you're right. It is massive. And in the first 24 hours, Faye, we got feedback from the city and, the immediate suburbs. But today, as it's opening up, as we are seeing, there was a drone survey conducted, aerial survey. Firstly, let me give you the sad news. The number is not 72. I got an update on that. The number, sadly, is now 86. Now, 86, again, in the circumstances, it's a blessing because, thank God, we evacuated 5 lakh people. And if you look at the 86, I don't know if this will interest you, but if you want, I've got the breakup of how each of them died.
Yes, that was going to be my next question, in fact.
Well, electrocuted 22, uprooted trees 27.
Yes.
Remember, 40% of trees have gone. Wall collapse 21, house collapse 7, drowning 3, heart attack, cardiac arrest during the cyclone. We've classified that also as a cyclone death is 3. 2, unfortunately, from an uprooted lamppost and 1 from a snake bite. Now, the snake bite is an issue in the next few months, as is diarrhea. So, from that point of view, the government is prepared. And to answer your other part of the question, to give you some more updates, trees, lots of trees have fallen. The estimate ballpark is about 40%. So, even in Calcutta, so the first focus is to clear the main roads, then only get into the side roads and the main roads across the state. All right. Now, so that's the situation. Lot of the electricity, there are a lot of parts of the city where the electricity is still not on because it's more a safety measure also, because the posts and all have all fallen down. Internet connectivity in Bengal is now slow. It's almost like a luxury to have a good internet connection. So today we had a video conference. I was on that. The chief, as a participant, the chief minister herself was participating with 22 opposition parties. They're also, and from the headquarters government, they're also the connection was bad. So if you've got parents in Calcutta, if you've got grandparents or uncles and aunts in Calcutta, there are these 60 emergency lines, 16 lines, so that there are 3 or 4 numbers. But the number which you really would want is the one which I'm just trying to pull it up. Give me it's on my Twitter. I tweeted it. I'll tweet it again. But you can call those numbers because we now have about 65 lines backing up each of those telephone numbers. I got it. Okay. So we've got WhatsApp. Let me at least give you guys the WhatsApp, right? That will be important. Should I, Faye?
Yes, go ahead, please.
The WhatsApp is 94326. I'll repeat that. 94326 24365. Okay. 94326 24365. There's the WhatsApp. And on my Twitter, I've also pushed out these emergency numbers.
Yes.
And the people you can call, my suggestion is please call the local police station. That's important. Yes. And the Twitter handles of the Kolkata police are doing a great job. Tag them on Twitter because they are working 3 shifts. And tag them on Twitter to try and get some feedback.
Right. I'll also post this on my social media as well. There's a senior citizens helpline in Kolkata. It's 98300 88884. This is the senior citizen helpline in Kolkata, 98300 88884. There's a police helpline is obviously 100. And the state government control room number is 1070. zero. We'll put up those numbers as well if you weren't able to take them down. Mr. O'Brien, I must ask you, there were visuals that did the rounds of transformer boxes, sparking up, and it looked really scary. The question that arose from most citizens who watched it, given the fact now that we know 22 people have died of electrocution, shouldn't the electricity have been shut off beforehand as a precautionary measure to avoid this sort of thing?
Hindsight is always 2020, but the real picture is what? The real picture is that, the electricity could have been shut off, couldn't have been shut off, because I've heard people, even the sound of that, the winds, the thing. So, you can prepare, and there was so much of preparation made. But when something like this hits you, where, you were expecting a nasty cyclone, and it happened actually the eye of the storm, the tail of the storm. Normally something comes to Bangladesh, something comes to Odisha, but here it was Bengal, Bengal, Bengal. But, the man up there writes the script.
I also want to ask you now if you expect, and this is a very unfortunate question that we have to ask at this point, do you expect that number, 86 you said is the number right now, of fatalities caused by this? Do you expect the number to go up as the government now is able to go into villages, and we would understand that some roads would be inaccessible, but would there be people in villages in rural Bengal who haven't been accessed or counted yet?
Yeah, so the first is rescue. So that's obviously the first part of this operation. And then we have to rehab these people who already now, in addition to what we've done, to remove them to safer places. We've got to be a little careful because some of the houses which are semi broken down. And in all this, as if all this wasn't bad enough, we have to keep physical distancing. So in fact, the Chief Minister made a significant statement, and that'll give you a sense of how bad this is. Somebody says good way to escape. Anyway, so that has to be done. The physical distancing also has to be done, and I think this is bigger than COVID in Bengal. That's saying something.
So I just want to understand this. If there is some clarity from inside of government on
and to answer your question about the numbers,
yes.
Faye, I've got to be honest. This is not a, if it's going to take today's day 2 after the cyclone. So I think you'll get whatever we're getting, we're sharing. From 72, it's 86. As soon as I got that, I shared with you. So we can just keep our, the only optimistic thing in all this is not like high triple digits because of the evacuation which was done. But it's grim. It's grim.
So when the Chief Minister says that right now the cyclone outweighs COVID-19, does this mean that it's currently difficult to maintain social distancing in the shelters?
No. You see, in COVID, now that you look at it, you are in some form of control now, because you can say you can isolate. We're testing. Look at the testing numbers. If you say in Bengal how very well it's doing, all that is good. Here it's the unknown almost. COVID is also unknown, but this is almost the unknown. So we have to practice the social distancing. And now there are migrant workers who are coming back. It's good that we have to have them back. So, and there are 4 levels of tests for the migrant workers. So it's and the other thing about, perhaps a lot of people didn't go to those homes, to those safe homes, because they felt that humko ghar nahi chhodna hai.
Yes.
Rather be at home. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge, and I think at this time there's no politics in this at all. So it's cooperation,
Yes.
Full cooperation.
Yeah.
Happy the Prime Minister was there this morning. The Chief Minister and the Prime Minister. Those were visuals. Which you saw.
Yes, I do want to ask you this. I had a conversation with the founder of Goonj a couple of hours ago. He said that because of the lockdown, it's actually a little difficult right now to be able to access relief material. So for people who are watching from other parts of the country who might want to help, do we have any idea of how we can help?
In a couple of days, because now we have the COVID fund, but we're going to have, perhaps, from what I'm hearing, we may be having a West Bengal cyclone relief fund in the next couple of days, maybe. And I'm sure there'll be other ways to help. And there's a lot of NGOs also doing a good job. And I'm also told that my battery on this phone is running out of charge. So maybe you can slip in one.
Very quick question right now is, does the government need volunteers on the ground in Kolkata and around Kolkata? Or are your
the best kind of volunteers, if any of you are watching, the best kind of volunteers to do at this stage is being neighborhood volunteers. You know, neighborhood volunteers is what we need, because you don't want people unnecessarily moving around. Yeah, that is what it is. And on the money front also, there was a 1,000 crore package announced this morning. I don't want to be cynical and say what's 1,000 crores. No, as I said, this is not the time to do politics. So politics will wait till winter.
Yeah.
And the chief minister, oh boy, she is leading from the front. As you can see, that I don't need to, spell it out, but she's there in the control room day before yesterday night, and today again, But I feel sad sitting in Delhi. I really feel sad because I got stuck here with the isolation and I've been here, but I want to be back home because all those familiar places in Calcutta. But we'll win this. I think we'll fight back.
All right.
Thanks.
Mr. O'Brien, thank you for the update and thank you for joining us here on Instagram. For all of
I'll come back in 2-3 days later.
Yes.
And I hope I can share with you some happier news.